When a Stranger Calls is the day 13 slasher pick for the Bark Knights 31 Days of Halloween. Okay, this was a first time watch for me, and I did not like it, at all. Well, that's not completely true. I did like the first 20 minutes, and I did like the last 20 minutes. But unfortunately, there's 50 some odd minutes in between there that did absolutely nothing for me. This movie starts off with a scene pulled right out of the Scream franchise, with our titular babysitter, played by Carol Kane, wonderfully I might add, who is terrorized over the phone throughout the night, leading to that moment which has been referenced for the last 46 years over and over again, light spoiler, where she calls 911 and is told, "You need to get out of there. The call is coming from within the house." Now I said light spoiler because there does come a point in the conversation where you're thinking to yourself, he's referencing so many things in this conversation that this really is the only thing that makes sense. And also, like I said, it's been referenced so many times that you kind of start to pick up on, oh yeah, that's where this is leading. This is that movie. Unfortunately, after that, you spend nearly the entire rest of the movie following this guy that terrorized her around the city, as it's shown how he's a crazy person that doesn't fit into society. I'm sure this was very meaningful when it released in 1979, but I was not into it. The detective that's hunting him almost redeems it, but it's just not enough. Alright, now this is a spoiler if you want to know whether Carol Kane survives the intro or not. Eventually, almost as if the filmmakers realized that they had Carol Kane working on the movie, it checks back in with her 7 years after the initial attack. Now she has a husband and 2 kids and is doing pretty well for herself. And our villain has decided that things are not working out with him terrorizing homeless people and women at bars, so he decides to go back to where it all began. And we have our final face-off, and like I said, solid last 20 minutes. Unfortunately, all the best parts of this movie have been redone over and over again so many times at this point, and better, that this movie just doesn't have the same impact it probably once had. Not for me, at least. The entire Scream franchise, for example, seems like Wes Craven said, what if I made a good version of this? For absolute horror hounds, it may be worth watching this just for the historical context, but like I said, the first 20 and the last 20 are really the only parts that provide that. For general viewing, honestly, I'd probably just skip it altogether. Thank you, and join me next time for our Werewolf Movie Day.